Garrett Nussmeier is going to miss the whole field here. The LSU starting quarterback is trying to hit his receiver on a fade route, somewhere between the front and back pylon of the end zone. But as you can see, the ball sails high over his receiver's head, nowhere near its intended target. This didn't just happen. It was a result of Georgia defensive lineman Jalen Carter. Carter is lined up as a left side defensive end in a three-man front. He's in the position of a defensive end, but he's not lined up outside the right tackle or past his outside shoulder. There is another defender outside of him who is standing up. He's the real edge rusher here. Crucially, the defense has a nose tackle lined up over the center. This means the center is expecting to block that defender after he snaps the ball. Carter shows incredible quickness for a man of his size to cross the face of the right guard and hit the blind side of the center. The speed and direction of Carter's initial movement makes the right guard think there is a blitzer coming behind him, so he looks outside first. And once Carter is inside of him, he then can't clamp down on a defensive lineman to shut him down in a double team because he has to respect the threat of the stunt coming in the opposite direction from the nose tackle. This means that the center is isolated against Carter, and he's the only one that can get between him and the quarterback. Carter is faster, stronger, bigger, and starts with an advantage after initiating the initial contact from his blind side. In other words, the center has no chance of stopping him. While the quarterback doesn't get sacked, you can see how he's forced to speed up his process. He throws the ball earlier than he wants to and he rushes his mechanics. If Carter isn't there that early in the play, he can wait for his receiver to reach the end zone, then put the ball in his outside shoulder so there's at least a chance of scoring the touchdown. The pressure made the difference. Interior pressure is invaluable in the NFL. It's why Aaron Donald gets paid like a quarterback. Donald's combination of speed, power and precision make him a generational talent, but it's hard to argue against Jalen Carter potentially following in that path. He shows off all the same qualities that made Donald a special prospect coming out of college. The best edge rushers in the NFL are able to bend the edge. This means they dip low, angle into the offensive tackle blocking them, and go around the corner with the sharpest possible turn. It's a technique that the likes of Von Miller and James Harrison before him have done for years with great success. It was never really an option for defensive tackles, until Donald came along. Against Oregon, Carter lines up across from the right side of the offensive line again, but this time he's the left side defensive tackle on a four-man front and it's 3rd and 8, so it's an obvious passing down. These factors combine to create a one-on-one matchup against the right guard with space on either side of him. Carter's technique off the line here is phenomenal. He takes one long first step with his right foot and then turns his second step into a jump. At the same time as he's jumping to the outside shoulder of the right guard, he's swiping his inside arm down to prevent his opponent from engaging him with his hands to keep him in an upright position. Once he reaches this point, he is both level with the blocker and beneath him so that he can turn to redirect towards the quarterback in the pocket. He has all the leverage in this body position, so he stays low and drives forward to the quarterback. The right guard can only hold him with his inside arm and then drop his weight on his back to try and take him out before he reaches the quarterback. Oregon had called a screen anyway, so the ball was coming out quickly no matter what. But if they tried to get the first down with a deeper drop back and a slower developing play, Carter would have made it impossible. Tennessee are close to their own end zone here, and they make the critical mistake of leaving Carter one-on-one against their right guard. Carter is insanely quick off the snap, and that allows him to place his hands on the chest of the offensive lineman immediately. When a defensive lineman gets his arms extended and hands to the chest of the offensive lineman, he's in control from that point moving forward. From this position, he can push, pull, or drag the blocker to wherever he wants him to go. Carter can beat offensive linemen in a variety of different ways. This time we're going to see his bull rush. He lowers his head and powers into the blocker's chest to first get him off his feet, and then he uses a second blow that concentrates more on the blocker's right side to collapse him inside. Carter simultaneously pulls the blocker forward so that he is completely clean going into the pocket. The running back didn't know where to be to give help, so Carter can go straight to the quarterback for the sack. It was 3rd and 6 here and the play results in a safety. In full speed you can get a full appreciation for the violence and ferocity that Carter plays with. Against LSU, Carter switches over to the opposite side of the field to work against their left guard. Again, he's part of a 4-man front and the offense releases all 5 eligible receivers into routes downfield, so there are only 5 offensive linemen in pass protection. The center is going to look right at the snap, leaving Carter in a one-on-one against his opponent. Carter's first movement is important here again. He lined up on the outside shoulder of the left guard and his first step threatens to widen rather than square up to him. At this point, his helmet is in line with the shoulder pad of the blocker rather than his helmet. This is purposeful to get the lineman's weight moving outside. His momentum is moving away from the center in the middle of the field. Within milliseconds, Carter has redirected back across the face of that lineman so that his helmet is now on the inside shoulder of the blocker. He's perfectly set up the opportunity to work past the blocker's inside shoulder. He does this by executing a very strong and very compact swim move that pushes him into the pocket. Carter has again very quickly put himself in a position where he is between the quarterback and the offensive lineman assigned to block him. He has a free run to the quarterback and this time he finishes the play with a sack. At the end of this play, he emphasizes his sheer athleticism by holding the quarterback aloft in one arm like his trophy while raising his other arm in celebration. Most freak athlete defensive line prospects who come out of college don't have any real pass rushing techniques. Carter already understands how to set linemen up with his footwork and how to use his hands to maximise the impact of his physical attributes. Sticking with the LSU game, this time we flip over to the left side of the field to work against the right guard. Unlike for the Tennessee safety, this time the offensive lineman is fast enough to protect his chest. We can see clearly that Carter's left hand is on top of the blocker's right shoulder. From here, the LSU player is in a good position. Carter powers through his upper body, showing great strength to open the blocker's chest. When they next re-engage, we can see the left hand is now inside of the shoulder. He pulls the blocker's jersey forward and down, but more importantly, the right hand is also now into the chest on the opposite side. Carter uses his hand like a pulley and dragging system to shift the blocker sideways, then pull him forward as he advances towards the quarterback. The quarterback gets the ball out quickly to his check-down receiver to avoid being sacked. It's very rare to see a college defensive lineman who can win in the second phase of his rush without getting the upper hand in the initial engagement or off of the snap. As a defensive lineman, you're never going to finish every play. A great season for a pass rusher in the NFL is 20 sacks. It's a historic season. Defenses have more than 1,000 snaps each season. That's 1 sack every 50 plays. And that's if you're a superstar enjoying a peak year with historic production. Getting consistent pressure and winning your matchups constantly is a true measure of a defensive lineman. All Carter did in college was win his matchups. The LSU game is just one example of how he will constantly disrupt the designs of plays and penetrate the backfield if he's not given extra attention. That's another layer of value that comes from having an elite defensive lineman. They take attention away from other players. For this play against Tennessee, the Georgia defense is showing a heavy blitz with both linebackers walked up to the line of scrimmage. Carter is the left defensive tackle and the offense has 2 eligible receivers in the backfield to contribute as blockers. Carter slides past the right guard as if he's not even there. You can see he's already passed his blocker at the same time that the other 3 defensive linemen have only just engaged their blockers. In the backfield, the tight end and running back are looking to the linebackers on the second level. But Carter gets downfield so quickly that he draws not just the running back, but also the tight end. He bounces the tight end off of his body, while the tight end gets in the way of the right guard who's trying to reclaim some leverage from behind. Carter knows he can concentrate on the running back to shed him en route to the quarterback. A player of that size is never really going to impact him once he's got his momentum built up. The Tennessee quarterback gets the ball out just in time to avoid being hit at the end of his throwing motion. All Georgia needed on this play was the coverage to hold up for a split second longer for them to get the sack. Florida are facing a 4th and 6th here early in the 4th quarter of a competitive game. Georgia aren't threatening to blitz. They have a 4-man defensive line coming from wide alignments with Carter lined up as the right side defensive tackle. The running back is to his side and he will factor into the play. To get an idea of just how fast Carter is off the line, we can pause the play as the ball is being snapped. Carter is the only one in an upright position and stepping forward. The rest of the defensive linemen are still in their original stances. Both of Florida's offensive tackles are moving, but neither is as far along as Carter is. The fact he's beating their reaction time, even while understanding his proximity to where the ball is snapped relative to theirs gives him an advantage, is still astonishing. Carter uses his fast start to attack the left guard's outside shoulder. He makes a hard plant with his right foot while his upper body shapes to push back across the blocker's face. The space is between the left guard and the centre because the centre had to look right due to the setup of the Georgia defence before the snap. That was the only area blitz could have come from, so the centre has to look that way to give help. Carter executes a perfect swim move so that he's past the left guard before the left side defensive end has even touched the right tackle. And more importantly, before the quarterback has hit the top of his drop. The running back has no chance of stopping the defensive tackle. He can only hope to redirect him slightly. He has a small impact, but it's enough to prevent Carter from getting the sack. But he still meets the quarterback at the top of his drop, so that the design of the play is destroyed. The quarterback escapes forward, but is forced to throw the ball away because he had no outlet that could beat the pressure. Throwing the ball away on 4th down is essentially a turnover. Carter's skill set is undeniably elite, but despite being as talented as he is, he doesn't rest on his laurels. His work rate is through the roof, and his discipline in terms of playing his assignment isn't the question that needs to be answered. Sticking with the Florida game, Carter lines up as one of 2 down linemen on 3rd and 16. He easily moves past the outside shoulder of the right guard so that he forces the quarterback off of his spot at the top of his drop early in the play. On 3rd and 16, you could forgive Carter for falling to the ground here and suggesting that he did his job, taking the easy way out. But that's not what he does. He continues to work after the quarterback steps forward and chases him out of the pocket. After the ball is thrown to the running back, he accelerates again to try and catch him from behind. He doesn't tackle the ball carrier, but he was in position to take him down if the back cut towards the middle of the field. That's 13 or 14 yards past the line of scrimmage where he started the play. Kentucky used a misdirection screen design here that leaves Carter unblocked in the middle of the field. He redirects quickly and then is able to evade the first blocker who tries to get in his way before showing great speed and desire to meet the running back downfield and blow him out over the sideline. We've seen the breadth of Carter's skill set as a pass rusher, as well as his discipline and work rate, but even in the modern era NFL where every team wants to pass as much as possible, defensive linemen still have to be able to stop the run to stay on the field. Carter is as good against the run as he is against the pass. It's 3rd and 1 for Oregon. The offense is going to run the ball up the middle, right behind their centre in the hopes of gaining the yard that they need. Carter is lined up in the right B gap between the right guard and the right tackle, so the offense is running away from him. But Carter shows incredible power and violence with his left arm to throw the right tackle into the running lane. He immediately shuts the play down and is unblocked to confront the running back behind the line of scrimmage. The replay angle shows just how much Carter made his opponent look like a child trying to block a man. Not only did he destroy him, he made it look easy. That lineman isn't the only one to suffer that fate against Carter last season. LSU are facing 4th and inches this time. They're going to run away from Carter to try and neutralise his impact as well. Carter gets his left shoulder into the chest of the right tackle to blow through him immediately. The speed that he gets into the backfield allows him to hit the running back behind the line of scrimmage. The Georgia defence then collapses on him to create the turnover on downs. Kentucky's attempt at converting 3rd and 1 went about as expected as well. This time, Carter is going to face a reach block from the right tackle, who attempts to come from his outside shoulder to seal him off on his inside shoulder. Carter absorbs the heavy hit from the big-bodied offensive lineman by using his low centre of gravity and balance. Once he has taken that hit, he can advance into the backfield and make the tackle to force the punt. This isn't a short yardage situation this time, but Florida are going to double team Carter at the point of attack and try to run right at him. This is a bad idea. Carter is in the B gap between the right guard and the right tackle once again. Both of those linemen are going to engage Carter in a double team at the snap. He plants his right foot on the 50-yard line and gets beneath the blockers to hold his ground initially. Florida are running their quarterback in a power design targeting the right side. When Anthony Richardson is being met by the first defender behind the line of scrimmage, we can see that Carter's right foot hasn't moved. He's still in the exact same spot he was in when the double team first started. He's still on the 50-yard line. Richardson breaks that tackle but jumps into the double team and bounces backwards off of it. Carter created a wall that fully stopped the quarterback's momentum and allowed a second defender to come in and corral him from the inside. Carter's ability to penetrate through linemen quickly at the snap allows him to regularly destroy the designs of running plays, something that Aaron Donald does at the NFL level as well. He creates chaos behind the line of scrimmage without taking himself out of position. This swim move tackle for loss against Kentucky is a great example of that. The running back had nowhere to go because of how quickly Carter won his matchup. Against LSU, the quarterback is going to keep the ball instead of giving it to the running back. Carter can't impact the quarterback on this play, it's his job to stop the running back. He goes right through the centre and meets the running back in the backfield for what would have been a tackle for loss if the quarterback hadn't kept the ball. True nose tackles don't really exist anymore. You no longer have the oversized 2-down defensive tackles who only play the run by taking up space. All defensive linemen now have to be able to work horizontally to have value against the run because of the prevalence of zone running play designs. Carter shows on this play that he can move laterally and work against blockers while keeping his eyes in the backfield to put himself in position to stop the ball carrier. He makes his play look easy as he stops a running back for another tackle behind the line of scrimmage. Carter ticks every single box you could ask him to tick as a football player. He's also playing a premium position as someone who can generate interior pressure while staying on the field all 3 downs. He's definitely worthy of being a first overall pick, and more significantly, Aaron Donald shouldn't be insulted by any comparisons that are made between the two. Donald fell a little bit in the draft even though he still went in the top half of the first round. Carter won't fall. If he drops further than the top 5 picks, more than one team has made a critical error.